Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here for the first time this month, I think. Apologies for the absence for those who've been waiting for some videos, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it in my last video. Maybe I didn't. Why is that screen going white? That August, well, just the school holidays from like middle of July through to early September is my busiest time of the year with my care work that I do. I'm currently doing 26 hours a week with two fine young gentlemen. Um, and my current wife also does 10 hours a week with a beautiful young lady, which I help out with. So usually I make my videos either in the mornings or the afternoons, and that time's full. I can't make videos, so that's why we haven't had any. But that doesn't mean I haven't been grinding pretty hard. So we'll have a quick catch up before we move on. First of all, we'll give my very good friend, well, very good acquaintance, Juicenberg a shout out. He is streaming tonight. This video is probably going to go live around um, 6:30, and he'll be starting streaming at 7 o'clock. So stop watching this video, go and watch Juicenberg 123 on Twitch. Come back and watch this later. So that's the first shout out for my man Juice. He's a very good watch. If you're not aware of him, do go and give him a follow. He is an old nit like me. He is doesn't respond well to fish doing stupid things, and he's very amusing when fish do stupid things that he doesn't approve of. He's just a good watch, and he's a good player, but say that quietly because he's got a big enough fucking head as it is. So yeah, go and give him a watch. Juicenberg 123. I think I'll stick a link to his Twitch in the comments below, but I might forget because I'm a fucking idiot. So this is the month to date. So what are we on now? 18th, and we've already played 2 days and 8 hours. What's that? 56 hours of Snap. I've also been playing on Unibet and on Sky, so I've been grinding really hard um, when I can. And it's been a really good month. Let's just go through what's happened this month. The cash games have gone really well. I'm winning on Unibet. I haven't played much on Sky. As you can see, we're winning here. Not anything special, shit win rates, but we're winning, so that's good. On 2 Sundays ago now, I had 25% of another acquaintance, friend of mine. I did, if you remember, I did a video with Craig CU a while back reviewing some hands. Well, I had 25% of him in his Sky tournaments a week last Sunday. He finished second in the Sunday £100 Sunday Major, which netted me £540, which is nice. The following day, I was feeling lucky, so I entered the Sky Poker main event of the evening. I rarely play £33 tournaments on Sky, and I won that for I think it was £1,007, something like that. 2 nights later on the Wednesday, I want to get this in the right order. I won the Midnight Express. Yes, I won the Midnight Express for just short of £300. Um, I've had some minor cashes since, some final tables, etc. So ultimately, the upshot of it all so far this month, well, in the last last 9 days, I've had over £3,000 come into my bank account from poker, or into my bankroll from poker. It's been really, really sweet. It's been the biggest heater I can remember. My biggest ever tournament win was like $3,000 back in like 2008 when even Juicenberg could win, and yeah, it's been a phenomenal time, and I've also started like a mental game vlog in the Sky Discord where I just kind of dump all my thoughts, all my random thoughts, and sometimes get feedback. Sometimes I'm not really doing it for the feedback. I'm more doing it just to like declutter my mind when it feels somewhat cluttered. And part of that, so some of the guys who read that will be surprised to see we're playing some $50 Snap today. Part of that has been for me saying that I think this Snap game is a bad game, and I do think it's a bad game. You can see by my win rate, it's not a good game. Let's see if we can do this like for the year to date this year. Yeah, so my win rate is like 4 bigs 100, but that's when I'm playing like 2 tables, sometimes 3 tables, etc. I think when I 1 table, we can maybe get this number up to 5 or maybe 6, and even that's not great. You know, you're getting 200 something hands an hour, and you're winning at whatever, like fucking $5-6 an hour, 50. It's fucking rubbish. But what it does do is it helps keep me sharp. It gives me something to do when there isn't traffic on Sky or Unibet. Sky's traffic's been not great lately on the cash games since lockdown ended. summer, light nights. Everyone's been let out of like house arrest for the first time in 18 months virtually. So it's understandable the traffic's dropped a little bit. So I kind of at the times I want to play later in the day, in the afternoons sometimes, there just isn't the traffic there. The tables just aren't running. So whilst we're in this little lull with them, it doesn't hurt to just play tougher games, work on my game, hopefully win a little bit. If we don't, hopefully don't lose too much, but hopefully gain like an awful lot of um, confidence, gain a lot of just doing well and just like learning to play better. I talked to some very good players. They've helped me with my game a lot. And just generally put me in really good shape for when the kids go back to school and college in early September. Hopefully, the Dark Knight's coming back will attract some traffic back to Sky, and we can start putting more volume in there and just be in really good shape. I've stated like a goal on the Discord that I don't want to have a boss again for the foreseeable future. I don't intend to do any work for any company that gives me a boss before the turn of the year. I've done well enough recently, and my life financial situation is more than good enough where I can just take 3 months off work and just do poker, and then my respite care, which goes down to maybe just 12 hours. Maybe a tiny bit more depending on how many hours I'm going to get with the new gentleman I just started working with. But yeah, pretty much just 12 hours, which will basically pay the grocery bills every week. And then the rest of it, I'm just going to try and support myself with poker. Am I good enough? Don't know. I think I can be, but whether I am or not, long term, who knows? Because with these win rates, there's a lot of variance involved. So we'll see. Hopefully we won't be playing these games too long and Sky will come back to being good. But yeah, that's a little update. And yeah, let's play some poker for 40 minutes or so. These games, as I said, are good. You're going to see the HUD stats. It's very rare I do a video with HUD stats, but you're going to see them, and you ain't going to see too many like bad loose players kicking around. I think there are some players in this pool who are naughty, or some accounts who are naughty. If one of them is in the pool earlier, I don't know if he's still going to be here now. I think there's 3 or 4 accounts that all play a pretty similar style. Statistically, my sample size isn't big enough to compare them accurately, but there's little things that they do, like certain sizing tells they have, things like that. That I'm just like, well, this doesn't look right. And I've been speaking to somebody. Let's just see how much. This guy doesn't like his steals a lot. No, he doesn't. We're going to let the A7 see we go from there. And somebody was like been reaching out to me on Facebook, telling me that there's definitely some skullduggery going on in these games. I don't. If there is, there's not a lot. You better see by the stats. I mean, guys either have reggish stats or not great stats, but certainly not bottish or real-time assistance stats. But some of the stats of the guys who I think may be dubious are very similar to the stats of the guys who were using real-time assistance when I was involved with the apps. What do you want to do here? Complete unknown. We've been squeezed. A really fishy guy behind. This sounds just a bit too weak. So yeah, if the guy shows up, or any of them show up, there only tends to be one of them around. Very rarely do you see 2 of them on at the same time. It's definitely reason to be suspicious, but is it reason enough to not play the games? I don't know. I was chatting with Jusenberg about it yesterday on Discord, and I still don't know. I told him yesterday I'd quit the games, and today I'm back here making a video. So yeah, there you go. Shows how fucking flimsy I am. Right, this guy, C-bet 70%, so we're certainly going to be check calling the flop. He didn't C-bet this one. Okay, well, we're going to start betting then. I should explain my HUD stats, shouldn't I, really? Hopefully they'll say, right, okay, yeah, so it's done that. So C-bet stats, let's choose someone with a good sample. So VPIP, PFR, attempt to steal, that's including cutoff, button small blind, and their 3-bet stat. Second line is their full to steal, their full to 3-bet in position, and their full to 3-bet out of position, which are useful stats to have. I did used to have C-bet flop, C-bet turn, C-bet river here, But sample size wasn't really big enough, so changes for the time being to aggression frequency down the streets. This number's 1 when saw flop, which is a very good indication of how aggressive or not people are in general. And this bottom line is fold to c-bet flop, fold to c-bet turn, fold to c-bet river, and then went to showdown. So for all you stats geeks out there, that's my HUD for the time being. I also use different sizings in these games depending on who's to go behind me. 2.5x is my standard open if it's just like a box standard table behind me. If there's fish to go behind me, I usually opt for a 3.3x instead. Definitely got a nit in the small blind here, so we can try and steal. We've got an unknown, not fully stacked player in the big blind, so we're all in danger apparently. So I better be careful with this c-bet. Oh, he's right. He is right. I might be in danger. So now that we're going to look at whether there isn't any fault to c-bets, turns and rivers. Do I want to triple off against this guy? I don't think so. If we picked up like a 9 or a jack on the turn, I think I would have found a second barrel. But when he like snap calls the flop and our hand doesn't improve on the turn, we can just shut down there. He's not going to be one of the guys we're going to be looking to run multiple street bluffs against. I think we're going to be defending this Queen 8 versus. I don't know why this guy's got this green tag. I don't use these tags anymore. Let's cancel that. We are going to defend the Queen 8 suited with an unknown player and a min open under the gun from someone playing 38-20. He definitely needs a green tag. He just needs tagging somewhere different to the client. Let's check through on the flop. We pick up a good shot, and it's not the worst board for somebody in the blinds. Of course, we get 2 callers and we completely break, so now we're just giving up. I mean, we're just going to lose to this guy, whoever he's got. Ace 7, fair play. I mean, not really good call pre-flop, but guess he played post-flop okay. Tag players as we go along. Once I get like over 150 or so hands on somebody, I will tag them. Obviously, if they're an obvious fish, then I will tag them sooner. But if they've got reggish stats, I want to wait until I'm a bit more confident in the sample size before I give them the tag. The purple tag's kind of more loose aggressive type style. Red tag's just really solid regular. Yellow's nit. Yeah. And we can tag this guy as a fish cow. He's got a stupid name. Doesn't play fully stacked. And he's from Canada. No offense to Canadians, but you're about as shit at poker as us Brits are. So we love to see Canadians in the game. Do we want to open this under the gun? Nit on the button. Nit in the blinds. Yeah. We'll go for it. I say nit in the blinds. It's not super nitty. In fact, he should probably be red tagged actually. He looks better than a typical yellow tagged player. This guy is more on this Chupacalypse. He's got an absurd c-bet statistic, which can never be good. I'm just not sure what to tag him. So he just stays, he remains untagged. It's an international man of mystery. Again, this type of player, I'm never sure quite how to tag them. 27-17, not playing a full stack. Probably a fish, but looks like reasonably aggressive. Perhaps maybe even slightly over aggressive. He's obviously 2 tabling because he's got less than 50 bigs at one, less than 100 bigs on one table and more than 100 bigs at another. might even be 3 tabling because he's had like maybe no, he's at least 2 tabling. We know that much, possibly 3. This guy's tagged as a short stacker, but he actually isn't a short stacker. He's just a pretty boring player. He's going to have a stab at this flop. He's not very aggressive, only 26% aggression frequency on flops, so we're not going to get check raised very often, which would be really annoying. He does call. He falls to c-bets, only 38%. He falls 67% on the turn. So we're going to take another small stab. And we take it down. I'm happy just to take it down. That's why I stabbed again. You know, I mean, obviously, if he's got a better hand, he's not folding it. But he was in there just with like an ace-jack type hand or just a random ace-high float. Or just hands that probably can't call again, but, you know, do have bits and pieces of equity. I'd rather just fold them out and just take a second stab against someone who isn't aggressive. Against some better players, I wouldn't be doing that. You know, I'd be a little bit scared of being raised off my hand or what have you. But against that type of player, pretty docile, pretty straightforward, then we can do things that maybe aren't ideal. This guy's weird. He just like 5x's, sometimes 3.5x's. Never has a full stack. Just a bit shit, basically. He's basically one of them players who's, yep, I've got a hand shot, so I know which hands to open, but I've got no fucking clue what I'm doing outside of that. Why's this guy got the fucking wrong coloured tag? Should be green. Ace 10 wants to go behind. No, we're not going to be opening Ace 10 from that position with that particular lineup behind us. We could safely tag Oliver as not a regular. Dimson, who I think is one of the better regulars in the pool. It's a bit tight, but I think he's one of the better players. No need to be defending the 10-8 off against him out of position. We only effectively have one player to get through here, but we're probably still not going to open the 8-3 off. Well, I will open like very wide array of hands if I think, you know, the blinds or the players behind are just going to get out of the way. I mean, lots of them are like completely unplayable if we do get action, but we rarely do. When I'm opening, like, my steal success with the 8-3 offs of the world is very high because only very specific opponents I do it against. Not c-bet in this multi-way. Another pretty good regular, in my opinion. But a Suete doesn't let me get away with very much. It's a UK reg. Probably be defending the 9-6 suited here versus the opens. This guy is almost yellow tag. No, we're not going to defend it versus the open and the 3-bet, of course. I do that when I'm tilted. And trust me, I get tilted now and again in these games. We'll talk about that at the end when we go and look at the graph. So if you're not going to watch it all the way through and you want to think about my mental game, then skip to the end of the video where the graph pops up, and then you'll hear chapter and verse on that there. So this guy falls to c-bet 42%. He's pretty aggro, so we're actually going to make very small c-bet against him here and just hope to maybe induce something. Like 40, 44 and 50 in his aggression frequencies, which is pretty high in these games. If you look around, there's a lot of 30s and 20s and even lower. We're going to size up now his call bonds. folds. That's a shame. I mean, that small bet was specific to try and induce just something reckless from him. Didn't work. Never mind. No point having stats up on your screen if you're not going to try and use them to take exploitable lines. I'm not going to open the 10-8 into two regulars. Ace 8, no. So as you can see, I have my defined standard opens, like obviously pocket ace is always an open, etc. But once we start to get on the peripherals of is this an open or isn't it an open, it's very much done based on who's to act behind me, what I think of them, etc. Some hands are just never an open. Some hands are just sometimes an open. And then for different sizes too. So if I have pocket aces and there's 3 fish at the table, I'm just going to 3.3x it. If I have pocket aces and they're all regs, and we're just going to 2.5x it. And if there's some really aggressive regs behind me before the button, occasionally we'll throw a little cheeky limp in. This guy only steals 25%, so we're not going to get out of line against him. 6-9 suited is a hand that I would open from the cutoff sometimes, but we've got 3 pretty aggro looking guys behind us. Real nit in the blinds here. We've got nit there, so we're going to open the ace-9 from middle position, which should never really be an open, but I think we're getting through him nearly all of the time, or a big chunk of the time. In fact, he just min 3 bets us, which is what the fuck? Excuse me. Could be a misclick, could just be aces. It's not going to matter because we have completely bricked, so it really doesn't matter what it is. We're going to see the big bet. We're going to see the pot size bet. Quite often what you see after somebody min 3 bets, not just a half pot, doesn't matter. Yeah, these games are looking especially bad right now. Sometimes later on at night from 10:30 PM onwards, there will be some bona fide fish kicking around. Right now, we're not really seeing any, are we? But we're in now. We're making a video, so we'll just continue. What's the worst that can happen? Lose a couple of stacks. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Nope. Giving up with the king 9. Now I've completely bricked. How often does this guy see bet? Because he's gone. We're giving up. We know he's not there anymore. I think we're just going to bluff here now, I think. Because Vintage Pizza almost certainly has nothing. Now Limsky might check back top set on the flop, but he's doesn't have top set very often anymore when the other ace comes. Surely Vintage Pizza leads his strong hand on the turn after the flop checks through. Okay, maybe he fucking doesn't. I mean, what does he have? I'm going to bet. Do we have to bet to make a jack fold? Obviously, he's got an ace, he's going to check raise us. I think he probably leads an ace on the turn, though, so I'm going to target Jack X to fold here, and that's some medium pairs to fold. So we'll try that. If we get raised, obviously, we're just snap folding. Although I'd be very surprised to see him play an ace this way. We can have plenty of ace X in our small blind, in our big blind flattening range, especially versus the size that was used pre-flop. We're going to have pretty much every suited ace combination imaginable. Some offsuits. He didn't fold the 6s. Never mind. Nice try, Reggie. I'm not sure what I think about his call there. Feels somewhat heroic, but good for him. That was kind of operation success. Read the hand well. Patient still fucking died, didn't they? That's what was going on there. It's one of them when you check back, you're like, fuck, he would have folded that. Well, clearly not. Opens this guy opening from the small blind. 48%, so we're going to 3-bet the sixes. Not to that fucking size though, Reg. We don't need to go that big. Someone's opening nearly 50% from the small blind. We're just going to 3-bet them relentlessly. He does call. We get a flop that's theoretically good for us. We've got a very rubbish hand on this board. He's going to have some decent numbers of ace-x, etc. in his range. He doesn't fold to c-bets very often either. 35% fold to flop c-bet, 7% fold to turn c-bet. So this isn't someone we're even going to try and barrel off here. We're not going to try and make this guy fold. I'm just giving up. Didn't fold pre, so we're not going to try and make him fold post when he clearly hates folding to c-bets. You can hear some of you howling now about that ace queen extra, it's fucking brilliant for your range, etc. I totally understand that, and it is close to a mandatory c-bet, but I just refuse to do stuff that's theoretically correct against people who, you know, I mean, the Eries again. Look, I mean, why on earth would you want to like barrel off against somebody who doesn't fold to 3-bets very often? Maybe it means we shouldn't really 3-bet the six in the first. He doesn't fold to 3-bets. He doesn't fold post flop. He's not the guy you want to be trying to bluff. So theoretically, of course, the pocket six is mandatory c-bet. But that just wasn't the guy to do it against, in my opinion. If any of you think differently, then I'd be more than happy to hear the arguments. We're going to 3-bet this because I don't want a flat from this position. All in here. It's an interesting snap all in sizing, sir. We can have a nice fold there. The sort of time I just love to have pocket aces and just absolutely max time bank slow roll them for being absolute thunder cunts. Not folding this to a 3-bet from either opponent. We'll be jamming if this guy 3-bets. Or calling if he jams. This guy does 3-bet. We're not folding to him. And we're not 4-betting, so that leaves just this option. Why is my fucking reload not on? That's really annoying. That is really annoying. This guy c-bets a lot. He slows down on turns. We're going to float here. Very disappointed with my stack size. I think we're just going to like bet smallish. And probably go bonkers on rivers. Don't need to. Good. Thank you for the fucking reload eventually. Won't be folding to any of these three guys. Not enough sample size to even consider 3-betting this guy yet. He's going to take a flop. Pretty aggressive on flops and turns over a small sample. I'm probably going to call twice unless the turn's a spade. Maybe even check raise turn. Maybe. Because he's just like very aggressive over a small sample. Can we just call here? He can have a lot of draws here, can't he? And he doesn't barrel the river very often. At 1 of 8 on the river, so I think we just call here and fold rivers, I guess. Turn check raise wouldn't have gone well, would it? That's a dangerous small sample size, I guess. If I wasn't making a video, I absolutely would not be in these games right now. Too many cunts around for my liking. Much better later at night when half the Eastern Europeans have gone to bed. And there's just a higher UK, Ireland, Germany, Canadian presence and some South Americans. But I'm literally doing this for you guys. Well, not for you guys, doing it for the video. So if we book a losing session, then hopefully it won't be in vain. This guy's not very aggressive, so we're not going to check back to in order to call some turn bets. If he was more aggressive, then maybe we'd check back flop to try and catch some turn probes with weaker hands. He has a turn aggression frequency of just 29%, so checking back flops with the intention of calling turn probes against people who just aren't very aggressive doesn't feel like a good idea. I'm fishing the small blind too, so we're going to try and ISO Bolly here. I'll just take the pot down. Just as good. Not as much fun, but just as good. This guy falls to a lot of 3 bets. He's 5x'd. This could be pretty spewy, but he does fall to a lot of 3 bets. Did say he was a weirdo. Has a variety of open sizes and just happily 5x folds from the cutoff. Again, we're going to try and isolate possibly the only weak spot, or one of the only weak spots in the game at the moment. This guy's pretty aggressive, so we're going to see if we can induce some stabs from him. Snap checks back, which is most unfortunate. A little proby type bet on the turn. And then make a bigger value bet on the river. Not enough aggro comebacks behind to want to limp this. Guy hasn't folded to a C bet yet, so we'll go on the slightly larger side. Don't love the jack turn. Plenty of stuff gets there, but he's got a low aggression frequency in the turn over a small sample, so I don't really want to. This is grim now. I think I'm just going to fold. This guy's got a 29% movement soft flop over a small sample. I didn't like the turn. It fell heavy. Didn't like it when it came. Now we've been snap raised by somebody who so far over small samples very passive on turns. I'm just going to fold. We'll have to defend here if this guy 3-bets. He doesn't. We flop the nizzles, which is nice. We could even consider checking here, but I want to try and start getting some money in the pot. A little bit concerned by the board pairing, but still a trivial bet. I think we just bet biggish here and hope not to get raised, because if we get raised we're probably fucked. See if we can have a giggle with Darth Vader again and attack his 5x open. Good old Darth Vader. Looking 10 you could drive a bus through. Ace 8 off. This guy hasn't folded to a 3-bet yet, so we're not going to try and make him fold. King 7. We're going to be checking back this flop and then calling turns. What we love in calling rivers with is 11% aggression frequency, but we're probably going to have to call down once we check back the flop. Expect a turn probe to come with a very high frequency. And we're not folding on that river. He checks now. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. Yes, he had a 9 there, did he? Pocket 6s. Interesting. And by that, I mean fucking rubbish. Although, I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh there. I mean, we checked back the flop. We only called the turn. Guess we can play some draws that way, in his mind. So I think we'll sit out next blind and we'll just have a little look at, have a little route around in my database. %16 under the gun. Nope, we'll give it a miss. So there we go. That's the end of the playing part of the video. So what did I want to talk about? First of all, we'll look at the graph. This is a graph for the month. Showdown winnings is in there now because I know a lot of guys like that sort of thing, and I think that you can chart my like 1 table, 2 tabling, and 3 tabling pretty accurately with this. And when it's going up, like it's today I'm in 1 tabling, so the red line's going up quite significantly. And when it's going down, I'd say this is probably 2 tabling. That was almost certainly a bit of 3 tabling. I just don't play very well when I play more tables. I'm a little bit too passive, too weak. I'd say weak tight, and I don't want to be weak tight. You don't win money at poker playing weak tight these days. And that's backed up by, if we look at these stats here, and we'll go back to the month. This month. You can see some days, these are when I was playing, possibly, or maybe not that one though. Why is 3 hours 14 minutes? Only 400 hands. Don't know what the fuck's going on there. Like a 16.8, 15, just too nitty. Way too nitty. Yeah, fine. I mean, especially that day we did really well, but I played a bit tighter a little bit looser that day. But yeah, it's, as you can see by my stats, usually they're pretty consistent. They come out long term. If we look at like the whole long term, that's probably a reasonably accurate representation of my stats. 2016, 8% 3-bet. So go back to the month. So when we're doing like these at 15, I mean it's not sample size. That's 2,500 hands over 5 hours. I decided, fuck it. You know, I'm probably 2 tabling there, trying to play too tight, and yeah, fine. I made money. It's not who I want to be. It's not how I want to be. This is much more where I would want to be. Fair enough. Mind you, we ran bad today. it wouldn't be the best hourly rate by any fucking stretch. What's that, $5 an hour, something like that. But I'm not playing these games for dollars per hour. It's more, I'm just playing these games when there aren't better games to play. This isn't going to be my main game, even though I probably will end up putting maybe 40 to 50 hours a month in. That's it. It's not going to be my main game. It's very much just going to be, if I make some money, great, but just keeping myself sharp, keep myself focused, keep myself thinking, having stats available to me so I can check to see if any leaks are like springing into my game. So that's kind of where I want to be. This one win saw flops much more where I want it to be. I mean, God knows what happened that day. I don't you know, only one session, maybe two sessions, who knows. But yeah, we don't want our women's saw flop dropping below 45 really, and it's 44.5 there. And this month I have been trying to play more tables, so I expect that number to come up now. We're starting to, well, now I'm hoping to just like one table when I've got pretty much just nothing else to do. It's the only time I'm going to play Snap is when I've got fuck all better to do, basically. So yeah, that's the update, and we'll just do the graph based on the. It's not quite year to date because I haven't had this computer all year, and I had to do a factory reset on it, so I lost some hands. That's the overall year to date. 60,000 hands, 32 buy-in, so about 5 bigs 100. So it's not too bad. I mean, we're running above EV, but EV's only one way of like looking at luck. I mean, there's been tons of spots where we've just had like overpairs cracked by who knows what in 3-bet pots where the villain had no real business calling, etc. And probably the other way around too. I probably cracked some good hands with hands I had no business calling with. So I don't really pay too much attention to all in EV because that levels out over the long term. You know, and a lot of it, I guess, I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about tilt before the end of the video. There is a fair chunk of tilt in this sample size. So even though we're winning, I just know I can do so much better because it usually happens when I'm two tabling or more. Normally, if I've been two tabling or more for more than like an hour or so, and you know, you have them sessions where just you get 3-bet a lot, you never have anything to stand up to them with, or you know, just not going well. You're opening, it's never making hands, or you know, you just feel like you're being run over, and that's definitely a tilt trigger for me. If I feel like I'm being run over by good players, I would sometimes more often than I prefer. The tilt just come in and I just start playing back in absolutely, utterly ludicrous spot. Maybe one day I'll do a video just showing all the monumentally shit spew that I've done. It'd be a painful video to make, but I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people would enjoy it because it will be horrendous. There is some horrendous spew in there. I seem to remember, like, not that long ago, I think I 3-bet somebody with an 8-3 suited for fuck knows what reason, and then just barreled off, and they just like flied kings pre and just gone call, and I dumped 100 bigs on them. So yeah, I'd say if I could eliminate spew from my game or tilt from my game, and nobody can, but if I could eliminate it just even a little bit, yeah, I think 5 bigs, 6 bigs, 100 consistently, you know, could be achieved. But I'm a human being, and I am prone to falling victim to my emotions as much as anybody else is. So I guess again, that's a bit of a push because my opponents are going to sometimes tilt and spew too. I don't tend to see very much of it. It feels like I do it more than some other people. And also, you've got the potential bots slash real time assistance users in the game. They're not going to tilt because you know either it's a bot playing or it's just someone being told what to do by software. So they're not going to tilt. So definitely edge against them, and that's disappointing. Maybe I'm being unfair to the guys, and I'm probably glad one of them didn't show up because I don't want to call somebody out for cheating if they're not cheating. Although, like I suspect they are. There's 4 or 5 accounts. They open 3.5x all the time. They have similar-ish ranges as far as I can tell in Hold'em Manager. And then if somebody limps, they all just 3x, which I think is a massive red flag. I was chatting about this with Juicenberg yesterday. So if you think about someone's always opening 3.5x, but then they always just 3x versus a limper. And it's 3 accounts all doing exactly the same thing. Maybe more, maybe 4 accounts all doing exactly the same thing versus a limp and all like opening pot otherwise. It's got to make you think. It's just so unlikely that there's 4 players using exactly the same strategy, in the games. In terms of like, right, I'm opening for pot, but I'm only 3x versus limpers. I mean, it's just not a thing. But 4 people are doing it. At least 3, possibly 4 people are doing it. So that triggers me too. That irritates me. Um, so yeah, there's reasons why I'm in mental games, not where I want it to be, but I still have a good mental game. I mean, I've been a winning player for a long time now. I continue to be a winning player. So obviously, a mental game isn't horrendous, but like everybody else, it could certainly be better. And if I do intend to not have a boss again for the foreseeable future, it's something I'm going to have to manage better than I managed over the last, you know, 12 months or more. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Don't forget, if you've got this far, this video is going to be going up in about 10 minutes from me saying this. So that means you're going to be watching it. It's going to be 7:10 if you watch it all the way at the end immediately. Go and give Juiceburg a watch. If you're watching this at 8 o'clock at night and you're just finishing, go and watch Juiceburg. I promise you, you won't regret it. But we'll leave it there for now. Take care, everybody. Have a good week. I can't guarantee I'm going to be doing any more videos before September. If I do get an opportunity like I did today, I will knock one out. But September, I intend to get back to making many more videos, probably snap-ons, I would imagine. And hopefully you guys will enjoy them then. So take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week, and bye-bye for now.